It's unusual to speak before they even start playing, but the first piece that we're playing here bears having an introduction to it. It says Slain is the name of the piece. Most of you guys know it better as Be Thou My Vision. Slain is an early Irish folk song about Slane Hill, which is located in Ireland. This song kind of goes back to 433. Legend says that in 433 AD, St. Patrick defied the High King by lighting a flame on Slane Hill during a pagan festival when it was forbidden to have any other fires lit. And so this kind of commemorates that. We know the words that we sing in church aren't exactly what they are, but I do hope that you will hear this one in a very prayerful state of Be Thou My Vision. Do you ever get the feeling that you're just not needed? That was actually something I sprung on them yesterday in class. Baroque music, they didn't really have a conductor back then. It was a piano guy or the first violin, and Anna and I were watching, and Reagan, we watched a piece of a group of music playing Tchaikovsky, and they didn't have a conductor. It was still a rather large group. The first violin led all the entrances. Now, Tchaikovsky's not Baroque, don't get me wrong on that one, but the idea that sometimes the director just gets in the way of the music. That, and if you have a viola or a second violin, all you see is me. So getting out of the way and letting them try something different. When I went out in the audience yesterday during class just to listen to him, or was it today? It was today during class, to listen to him and see what it was going to sound like from your point of view. It's like, they really don't need me. I wonder if I can challenge them to another level altogether. And that was a lot of fun for me back in the back. Take a break, get off my feet for a minute. This next piece, it says, On a Hymn Song of Philip Bliss, and this is actually a world-famous band piece that I'm so glad that the composer wrote it for orchestra in about the last 5 or 6 years. We were one of the first groups to play it a few years back. It was, you could tell a band guy wrote it instead of an orchestra guy because the bowings are very, very inconsistent. So we spent with the high school orchestra several weeks trying to figure out and edit the bowings that we really liked, and just fell in love with this piece. And so I knew that the junior high orchestra would be able to do it once we got all the edits in there. The piece that it is written on is It Is Well With My Soul. And there's another story with that, and I promise I didn't set the songs up in order where we go from Slain to Ocean Storm to It Is Well With My Soul and Dance Infernal at the end. But there's such a tragic story around It Is Well With My Soul. It says here, and I'm just going to read it because I'll butcher it. Horatio Spafford, a Chicago Presbyterian layman and successful businessman, planned a European trip for his family in 1873. In November of that year, due to unexpected last-minute business developments, he had to remain in Chicago, but he sent his wife and 4 daughters on ahead as scheduled aboard the SS Villa de Roy. Yeah, that ship. He expected to follow in a few days. On November 22nd, the ship was struck by another vessel and sank in 12 minutes. Several days later, the survivors were finally landed in Wales, and Mrs. Spafford cabled to her husband, "I was saved alone." I've got daughters, so that really gets me. Shortly afterwards, Spafford left by ship to join his bereaved wife. It is speculated that on the sea near the area where it was thought his 4 daughters had drowned, Spafford penned this text with the words so significantly describing his own personal grief. "His sorrows like sea billows roll." It is noteworthy, however, that Spafford does not dwell on the theme of life's sorrows and trials, but focus attention in the 3rd stanza on the redemptive work of Christ. Humanly speaking, it is amazing that one could experience such personal tragedy and sorrow as did Horatio Spafford and still be able to say with such convincing clarity, "It is well with my soul." Hymn writer Philip Bliss was so impressed with the experience and the expression of Spafford's text that he shortly wrote the music for it, first published in 1876. Most sources mention that Bliss was a prolific writer of gospel songs throughout his brief lifetime, and in most cases he wrote both the words and the music. This is one of the few where he didn't write the words to it. There is speculation that this was his last gospel song as well. Bliss and his wife, Lucy, were killed in a train wreck in Ashtabula, Ohio on December 29, 1876. Most sources mention that Bliss actually escaped the flames at first, but then was killed when he ran back into the train to try and rescue his wife. Neither body was ever found. As a postscript, Bliss's trunk was salvaged from the wreckage, and in it, an evangelist, D.W. Whittle found an unfinished hymn that Bliss had started, which began with the words, "I know not what awaits me. God kindly veils my eyes." It is well with my soul. We have one more piece to play for you tonight. This was our closer in our junior high concert contest this year. The junior high, until this year, had not gone to contest in about, I think, 3 years. It's been a while since we've had a junior high contest. TAPS is what the high school bands and orchestras go to, and TAPS has been geared since its inception to high school only events. But they've realized as our high school orchestra and band programs across the state have grown that we need to find something for the junior highs to do. And so they actually asked us here in East Texas to pilot a junior high contest composition. And we had 3 bands and 3 orchestras at our competition. It was our band, our orchestra, Brook Hill's band, Brook Hill's orchestra, Gorman's band, Gorman's orchestra, Brook Hill's orchestra, and All Saints band at the contest. It was a good, tough set of judges we had. Brook Hill hosted us, and in our first year going back to contest, in about 4 years, 3 or 4 years, we were able to get perfect scores, straight ones on stage with our orchestra. This is the closer that they played. As well, the junior high band also got perfect scores for the first time, I think in about 10 years, our junior high band was able to get perfect scores. So our junior high instrumental department got all perfect scores in contests this year. An exciting thing for them to do, especially since they'll be stepping up into a high school program that the high school orchestra, combined with the band for full orchestra, won the 7th state championship in the last 10 years. It's been very exciting. Again, I just waved the stick, and obviously I'm not that important at it. But these guys are going to be a great asset to that program. I'm very excited to see them move up. But the last one we're going to play for you tonight is Dance Infernal. And as soon as they help me get all the chairs and stands back to the band hall, they will be yours again tonight. Thank you all very much for doing it.